Hope, hello, Gun Nation. Sorry, I had it muted. I hope y'all are all doing well this evening. I'm in OKC and we are getting some rain. It looks like it's let up a little bit, but they were talking about hail and potential tornadoes, and that's Oklahoma. I'll go ahead and say hi to everybody. We got DB in the house, Rich B, catch back up here, reloading from the hot pot, Pistol Pete. Let's see, and we will get into it, Pistol Pete. Chessboard, I did get your email, so I appreciate it. And I was kind of aware of it, but again, and I'll get into it in just a second. Hey, Brian, how are you? IBG's in the house. Lynn Holt, hope everybody is doing good. But yeah, chessboard on that suppressor freedom law. With the especially even in Texas too. It comes down to when it's official. Oh, hang on a second. See what it's doing here. When it's official, then I'll believe it. Other than that, it is what it is. So, I don't believe anything until it's in print, but, you know. Let's see here. Yeah, Brian got a CZ Shadow 2. Two Live Moo, how are you? Rusty Taylor. All right, we've got. I did want to. I had a couple of questions on this. This is the Streamlight Wedge XT. I've been carrying it for, gosh, ever since I got it that day. Whenever I put that video out, but I've been testing it and all that stuff. A lot of people are like, "Hey, what's it look like?" Blah blah blah. There's a video I did on it if you want to see it. I've got the full size wedge and then this little XT. Um, it fits most. It would fit everybody's hand really, really well. I mean, this is probably the perfect size for 90% of people. I do kind of, miss a little bit longer, but it fits my hand fine. I mean, I can make it work, and y'all can see how light it is in here. There's a lot of light in here. Um, I'm not going to walk around and turn off all the lights, but I'll do a video, and I ran this out in the backyard. I mean, of course, it'll definitely blind somebody. It's super bright. I asked my wife, I said, check this out, and she closed her eyes. I kind of shined it in her towards her face, and she opened up and she goes, yeah, it's plenty bright. She was probably about, I don't know, maybe 8 feet from me, or yeah, probably about 8 or 10 feet, something like that. But anyway, it seems to be working well. It's already got a bunch of scratches on it because I carry this and my knife side right by it. But I don't care about that. That's what it is. So if anybody's curious, and yes, I'm liking it. Brian is saying, Big Johnson, the cook you had in your other channel recently looked fantastic. Yeah, it was really good. It came out really good. My wife loved it. You know, everybody liked it. So I thought it was really good. So thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Hello, Bald and Curious. How are you, sir? I haven't seen that, Pistol Pete. Pistol Pete said I saw there was a Texas congressman was carjacked at gunpoint by three men in D.C., less than a mile from the Capitol building. Does not surprise me. That's why, man, everybody should carry. I mean, this crap is insane, man. It is insane. Oh man. Let's see here. Also, I don't know if y'all saw it. If y'all watch Super Set Psy, I believe it's CA Super Set Psy. He does like a lot of optic reviews. Some rifle reviews, but mostly optics. Used to have another guy on his channel, and it's just him now. But he actually put out a comment on his channel that it said his account has been disabled from CommiTube. So he doesn't know if it's going to get deleted 100% or not. But apparently, And if you've ever watched this guy's videos, he never cusses, he never says anything wrong, he doesn't do any shady stuff, um, and he could have his channel dropped. So I'm just like, what in the hell did he do? I mean, out of all the people in the world, they pick him. So I really hope that doesn't happen. His name's Paul. I don't know him personally. I've just watched his channel, and he does good stuff. But I'm just like, what? So he posted it on his community tab if you want to check it out. So, he's asking everybody to go follow him on Instagram. I don't do Instagram. Y'all know I dumped that about, what, 2.5 years ago. Hadn't went back. Bald even said, "You're going to go back to Instagram. I promise you're going to go back." Well, Bald, what do you think about that? I think it's been over 2 years. I haven't gone back to Instagram, and I have no plans on doing it now. Did FEMA activate the zombies today or what? Well, what was crazy is I was in Oklahoma. I've never seen this before, or not was. I am in Oklahoma, but this afternoon I have two phones, and they both went off, and it was for an officer shooting here in Oklahoma City. Never, they always go off for the amber alerts, but apparently someone shot a police officer and was got away or whatever. So they put an alert bulletin out, and it went out on everybody's cell phones here in Oklahoma. So that's the first time I've ever seen that. I didn't know that they did that. But they described the perpetrator, they described the vehicle, and all that other stuff. So you know, I don't remember what it was now, but at the time I did read it just in case I happened to see it. But Big Johnson, hey, hope you're doing well. The Republican establishment is, yep, the gun control will pass because Kevin was removed. Um, as if McCarthy was pro gun. No, he's a rhino. He's been a rhino for a while. Who knows who they'll get in there? Hopefully, it'll be a decent person. Yeah, I mean, there's in a blue state and stuff, man. I mean, I don't blame them. Hell, I'm surprised they're only 400 down. Did anyone catch that clip about the convenience store clerk in San Francisco getting set on fire? What the hell? No, I did not. I did see the lady that started shooting out the window at the drive-through because somebody was bitching they didn't get their curly fries. Did y'all see that one? She freaking had a gun jammed in the back of her pants and pulled it out and started shooting at the customer. She was working at the fast food place, and a customer was bitching about they didn't get their curly fries. And I guess they started throwing stuff back and forth through the window. And he threw something, she threw something, I guess ice or whatever, or drink. And so she just pulled her gun out of her back of her pocket and started shooting at the guy. And it was the man, his wife, and his kid was in the car. I'm like, what in the hell? What brand knife do you carry? Today, I have a Rook. Um, I've got a bunch of knives, but this one's a Rook flipper. Or I'm sorry, yeah, Ruike. I really prefer a Tonto blade, but this is the one that I have today. Sometimes I'll mix them up. It's just an inexpensive knife, but I actually like them. Hell, I liked it so much I bought another one, and then I have the higher end model of that one, or a higher end model that they make. Hello, William Bader. How are you? I didn't hear a thing. I don't think for the FEMA deal. I just saw that a police alert one, unless it was added in that exact same time and I didn't know it. Clyde Cumberland said I added to the 30 cal family. Picked up a 10-inch 300 blackout upper today. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I've seen those CV knives. They actually even sell them at Texas Gun Experience. Jason Fisher says, "What happened in Maryland University shooting? Was it a gang shooting? I don't know. I did hear that there was one, but I haven't checked on everything." Yeah, the lady working there, and I guess the man was in the car, and he was griping he didn't get his curly fries or something. So yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. Hello, Norwood. How are you, man? Buck. Yeah, I've got a couple of old bucks. Um, I mean, I have a decent knife collection. I don't have like any like $500 knives or anything. I've got some that are probably 250, $300. But the last time I carried one of the super high end ones, I was working on a buddy's vehicle and I laid it up on his tonneau, or he had the tailgate down, and I was had my hands all greasy, so I just kind of picked it up and set it on the tonneau and shut his tailgate. And I was cleaning my hands off, and then we started talking. He drove off, and my knife was on top of the tonneau, so I lost it. But it is what it is. So I hope somebody enjoys that knife. Yeah, the 8.6 is pretty cool. There's other people making it now. The only thing is the ammunition. You're going to be limited where you can get it unless you're a reloader. But I think the 8.6 is cool. Also in Oklahoma, I did see two bums today fighting, or homeless people, whatever. And now I'm just going to let you know on these corners around here. Stupid thing. Sorry about this, everybody. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that camera. I think I hit it and it does weird stuff. But anyway, the two guys were fighting on the street corner, the homeless guys. I don't know if one of them took the other one's corner. I don't know what happened, but they started fighting. One of them had a cane that he was using, and he was starting to swing it around towards the other one. And the other one had a chair, a literal chair, not a wheelchair, just a chair sitting on the corner bumming money. So I don't know what was going on with that, but you know, guess they were upset. Let's see here. Hopefully, y'all can still hear me. Sorry about this camera deal. I was trying to get it back on, but it won't. Apparently, it won't come back on. So I don't know. Come on, is it going to work? Well, I guess it's not going to work. But anyway, also I did want to let y'all know about Liberty Safes is having they're having a bunch of sales on a bunch of their safes now. I guess it was released. I saw Guns and Gadgets did a deal about it, but I actually saw it in person. I went to H&H. What was it, last night in Oklahoma? After I grabbed some dinner, I went over there just to look around, and I was going to see if they had a CZ Shadow 2, a compact, um, and just try to put my hands on it. They didn't have one in stock though. But anyway, they have all these signs up everywhere because they're a safe dealer there. If you've ever been there, they have a whole safe department, and all their Liberty safes were on sale. So, I guess it's definitely like a Bud Light moment for them. But it is what it is. They did it. I don't agree with it, but now they'll just have to dig their ass out of this hole now. Yeah, the 300 blackout. Y'all know that I'm a huge fan of the 300 blackout. Norwood saying, I have no other gun that I would use that can. 300 blackout is nice because it works great on other calibers. Um, I'm a big 300 blackout fan, and the thing that I like about it is you can actually take multiple, grains. Hell, I've got some 90 grain all the way up to 230 grain. So I've got like 90, 110, 124. I don't really care for the 150 grain or the 147 grain, but I've got 210, 220, and I've got some 230s. So, I mean, as far as suppressed, unsuppressed, um, you know, and it runs it all well. So all my 300 blackouts do. So I'm a big, big fan of that caliber, and it's super super quiet with subs, so it is really quiet. I mean, it can almost get 22 quiet, um, so that's a good thing. But let's see here. Also, just an update, I had a couple people ask how my dad was doing, so I did want to update the family here and let y'all know about it. um, my dad's, he's going through the cancer treatment, radiation and chemo, and they're really focusing on his, exactly where the cancer is in his throat. So, and what's funny, or it's not funny, but he's got throat cancer. My dad's never smoked a day in his life ever. So I don't know what all that's about, but I've heard of people that have smoked their whole life and then quit for 10 years and then gotten lung cancer or throat cancer, but I didn't really know of a non-smoker getting it, but I guess anything can happen. And y'all all know my buddy did pass away from that, and he actually used to be in the comment section of the chat under media. If y'all ever saw him, that was kind of his handle, Media 69, I believe. But he passed away from throat cancer, and he never smoked. There's only one thing that both of these people uh, that I know that they had in common, and I'll let you guess what that is. Um, you know, ouchie, ouchie. I guess we could say that. So I don't know. I'm not. You know, I don't know. It's it's just crazy. But uh, had to go to the hospital Friday night. My dad did. Um, was put into the hospital because he couldn't swallow, not even water. Uh, I mean, you just give him a drink of water and he would, he couldn't get it down. So took him in. His throat was, swollen up. Couldn't do any swallowing. Water, ice, crushed ice, nothing. Food, of course, and medication. Took him in. They started him on IVs because his potassium was really low because we couldn't get anything in him. And anyway, long story short, it's still swollen up. His throat is really badly. They've done multiple tests while he's been in there on the IVs, the protein, the electrolytes, all that other stuff, through the IV. Still couldn't get anything down him. So they did have to put a feeding tube in his stomach. So they did that yesterday. Uh, they've been feeding him and water that way. Um, and that's where we are right now. So still super weak. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this turns out. Uh, you know, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, so let me catch back up. Um, and this sucks. This damn camera is doing this stupid stuff. I'm probably just going to buy another one and throw this thing in the damn trash. It works great until the second you bump it, and then it does this. So I don't know what the hell's going on. Um, I agree, Bald. It's not just in the air; it's what's in the food. Man, look at all the shit that's in our food. Clyde said, "My has never smoked, and he has been through 3 rounds of lung cancer." Golly, man, that's awesome. Big Johnson, I'm thinking about becoming or being an airline pilot. Do you recommend 4-year degree university like University of North Dakota, community college, or local flight schools? You could do flight schools. A lot of them, believe it or not, are pulled from the military. I know several military pilots who were pilots in the military, joined the military, learned in the military, um, and then went on to work for the airlines. Or yes, you can go to a local flight school. It depends on what you want to do. Or I know that what you're saying. Hands-on is great. 4-year degree is going to be expensive just to become a pilot. You don't. That's not a requirement. It could look good on a resume, but I would check out the flight schools and also check out your local areas and see, maybe even call. Um, you could call an airline and just say, what are your qualifications to be hired as a pilot? Is it only flight time? Is it college plus flight time now? Because to be honest with you, I don't know currently what they're looking for. As far as qualifications, I know you have to have your flying hours. You have to be multi-rated, aeronautically instrument rated. There's a lot of different ratings that you have to have. Barbecue grilling. Let's see here. Thank you, Pistol Pete. I appreciate it. Yeah. Could you donate the camera to the bums so we could see what their happenings? I'm telling you what their happenings are. I've actually seen them where I don't know if they pool their money together. It's pretty crazy. Um, they actually go over and get a whole bunch of beer at the beer store. They come over under the underpass. They all sit there and drink beer. And then there's a culvert. It's a big, huge culvert because all around it is shopping carts. And they go under the culvert, and that's where they just build tents like down there. So I don't know. It's pretty crazy, but I've seen their whole little thing. They used to have some tent cities set up around here, but I think the police started pulling a lot of that stuff down. Yeah, chessboard. I mean, they're saying everything is, the yellow dyes, red dyes, and that's what's crazy. I mean, and a lot of the pasteurization on foods, my grandmother lived to be 94. My grandfather didn't live that long, but he passed away when I was younger, probably like what 11 or that. It's a different grandfather, 12, maybe I was about 12, 11 or 12. But man, they ate bacon, eggs, drank 3 pots of coffee or 4 pots of coffee a day. I mean, they didn't eat the healthiest in the world, but most of that stuff was somewhat fresh on their farm. So I don't know. Jason Fisher, I worked on C5 flight simulator for 33 years. Best to become pilot is Air Force and then civilian. That's kind of what I was thinking, but I didn't know. I mean, that's what a lot of these guys that I know did. Um, but who knows? God, this pisses me off with this damn camera. I'm going to go back in here and see if there's anything I can do. Yeah, I guess it's just not going to work right now. So I'm sure sorry about that. Uh, okay, what I was meaning by the name of the chat, this shit's getting old. Um, all these BS gun laws. And I know Jason Fisher's brought it up a lot, with other states and other this, and, a lot of stuff that, like in Washington, I don't keep up with everything in every other state, just the ones, and I'm not trying to be rude, but just the ones that really pertain to me because I drive into them. Um, and all mine are free that I drive into. I mean, so, you know, they recognize my LTC and all that stuff, so that's not a problem. But, it does suck for a lot of other people. I'm definitely, fighting and hoping for all the 2A, to have all this shit together so we can all be on the same page. Um, but as y'all know, it's all. I mean, it's literally impossible for a normal person to keep up with every single thing in every single different state. Other than if you run a YouTube channel and that's all you do and that's your job. I know like Guns and Gadgets, a bunch of other people do that, and that's great. I really appreciate them doing that, but I can't do it. And then also, as far as what's happening, where they just pull these things out of their ass and say, oh, here's the new thing that we're going to tell everybody to do. Or, like New Mexico, we're just going to say the Second Amendment doesn't matter. Um, you know, all this crap is getting so old, and I'm just being honest with you. It's pretty much, how you can just go la, 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 and, not listen to people. That's pretty much how it's been with me for quite a while. I'm just being honest with you. When I see a lot of these videos like, oh my gosh, this has happened or that's happened, I don't get ruffled. I really don't. I'm pissed that it's happening, but also I'm like, you know what? I'm a grown ass man. And I can't worry about all the little dumb shit that they think they want to push or they want to do this or they want to do that. There's one thing: you can listen or not listen. You can fold or not fold. Uh, you can take your chances or not take your chances. It's however you want to look at it. Um, and it's to the point where it's becoming boring um, because they're just rattling heads. They're just talking puppets. And I'm quite been sick of it for quite a long time. So I wish somebody would come in and lay the hammer down and just be like, leave the 2A shit alone. Y'all go to your crime ridden cities and clean that shit up before you start talking about all the other non offending, normal 2A people, law abiding people, and leave them alone and go after the criminals, go after the cartels, go after the fentanyl, go after all of this other shit and leave us alone. That's what needs to happen. But, we're also, if you think about it, we're also the easiest. We're the easiest ones to pick because we're just sitting right there. We're abiding the laws. We're doing things right. We're easy pickings for them. It needs to become harder pickings. And that's where they need to lay it down and be like, every judge out there needs to be like, look, you cannot screw with this. Leave these people alone and go about criminals. Go to the criminals, not the good law abiding people. So that's my point of it. Let's see here. All right. Brian is saying one of the biggest reasons cancer is so high is because life expectancy is up over the course of time. If you live long enough, your chance of getting cancer increases. Yeah, and I do agree with that. I really do agree with that. But also, I think it has a lot to what's in the foods and how they're treated and the pesticides and all this other crap too. Back in the day, I know people like you're saying, people didn't live to be, well, actually some people, my grandmother lived to be 94. I'm not saying everybody does though, but they grew up on a farm, they had fresh eggs, fresh milk, fresh meat, all that other stuff. There really wasn't a lot of pasteurization involved. Now later on down the road, even with them, they did buy, local store meat and stuff like that. But, you know, I think a lot of it has to do with what we eat. And it's really crazy. I saw a video one time, and y'all could probably go and look it up, but it's Heinz ketchup. They had ketchup. This lady lived in Canada, but she came to the United States and was working here, I guess, for a long time. And she ate our ketchup, our Heinz ketchup. And she's like, this ketchup tastes like shit. And it was the same Heinz ketchup that she was eating in Canada, but it had a gold, Canadian leaf on the top of the label. So she went back to Canada to visit, and she bought, I don't know, three or four bottles of big Heinz ketchup back. And if you look at the back of hers, it said made in Canada, but it was Heinz. Ours was made in America, and it was Heinz. Ours had like 28 or 30 ingredients. Her version, because they don't have the FDA, ours has like artificial red and all this other crap. Hers was like salt, ketchup or salt, tomato. It only had like 4 or 5 ingredients, and there were no preservatives and all this other shit. And they were same damn company. So I'm just like, well, that's messed up. So I don't know. It just stuff like that, really, when you really start reading stuff, it's like, damn. And I see it with some of the spices that I cook with, um, or that I try to cook with all like natural stuff like salt, pepper, garlic, onion. Like in the powdering rubs and stuff. Because I've seen some rubs where it has like yellow dye number 5, um, uh, cornstarch powder, and it has all this other stuff in it. So I try to stay, a little more clean. Nothing's perfect, and I'm not the staple of health. I'm not trying to claim that, but you know, it's just amazing all the stuff that when you really start reading it, all the crap that goes into stuff. Yeah, no problem, Jason Fisher. Pistol Pete, my 6-year-old son entered rehab today for alcoholism, breaking my heart. Oh my gosh, 6-year-old? Oh, okay. All right, it was 50-year-old son. Yeah, I hope everything works out at chessboard. That's some bad stuff, man. Yeah, Pistol Pete, feed him fish heads and rice. I'm you can't preach to me when you have armed security and armed this and armed that, and yeah, you can't preach to me. You can't tell me anything. Hello, Floridian. Sorry, the camera's doing weird stuff again. So, hello, GB58. How are you? Yep, I saw that, Brian. They need to do a lot more. They definitely need to do a lot more. That's what I'm telling you. They need to group together and just say, hey, don't bring any of this to any of these circuits. I don't care where you are, who you are, what group you are. We're not listening to any of this trash. 2A stands, let people be normal people and have what they want. Hello, Mike. Hi, how are you? Hello, Abigail. Reloading says I shop at Aldi's because the mass ingredients in most food, all of the German European brands have fewer ingredients. Yeah, we have an Aldi near us. I don't normally go there, but I might check it out. Hey, Big J, don't you have a P10F USA version and a P10F Czech version? If so, do you notice the difference? Do you prefer one over the other? The P10F that I have is the USA version. My two P10Cs are both Czech versions. They're the original OG ones. Um, I don't notice any difference between any of them. I don't have two P10Fs to compare, so I don't know the Czech version versus the American version. But I mean, I've had absolutely no problems with my Czech version P10Cs, and y'all know how much I've shot those damn things. Um, and then I've had no issues with my P10F either. So I mean, I think you should be good to go on either one. Yeah, FDA requires food companies to have an extended shelf life that forces companies to include ingredients to meet the regulations. Once again, it's government screwing things up. I totally agree. And it's also bribes, payoffs, things like that. Um, because I know someone in the food industry business, and he and his company continues to go through FDA, lobbyist, etc. And it's a freaking scam. It is a scam. So he's told me some crazy stuff. But it just, I guess I'm really starting to read more about it and check more on it. And it's just crazy. That's what I'm saying, Scott. I just wish, and again, it's probably gonna, you know about wishing. You wish in one hand, shit in the other, and see which one fills up first. But somebody needs to come out and just be like, look, we're done with this stuff. We're not going to hear any more of it. You're not going to do anything on it. You're not going to put anything to the courts on it. You're not going to take anything to the districts. You're not going to do any of this crap. Here it is in black and white. This is how it is. Just like Thomas put out, here is how it is. And that's the way it needs to stand and be done with this shit. Rich B is saying, any suggestions on a red dot for my new Smith & Wesson Victory 22 to go on a pick rail? That 22 is a sweet shooter. Um, yeah, I mean, pick rail. There's not a bunch, but there are some that come with the pick rail. I know Primary Arms has one. I did move the Primary Arms over to my 22 with the pick rail, and I will say this: the refresh rate is not astonishing like it should be. Meaning, like when you transition, your refresh, you shouldn't have any. Uh, and if you don't know what refresh is, when you look at a dot and you sling it to the left to the right, you shouldn't have any blinking. It just should be a steady dot. Um, and I get a little bit of refresh lagging on the Primary Arms. I talked about it in the video that I did way back when. But on a 22, I don't notice it as much that I do on a 9. So that's why I moved it over to the 22. You could Google like dots that comes with pick rails or something like that, or the little adapter that goes on the pick rail. Because if you buy a pick rail adapter additionally, they're kind of like, I've seen them for like $60, and some of the dots will actually come with them. Matter of fact, some of the Sealies, I would, if it comes with a pick rail, I can't remember if it does or not on some of those models. The two that I have don't, but I know that they do offer them. Um, but I would probably stay with maybe like a Hollow Sun or something like that. But it just depends on what you're going to be doing with it. I don't think you're going to be like running all over the place with it. If you're just going to kind of go from target to target, you'll be fine. Yeah, I haven't played with the NRA in a long time. I don't even mess with that shit. That's like the NRA shows. I only went to that one in Dallas way back when. And then after that, I never gave them another dime. And if I don't go to another NRA show in my life, I don't really give a shit. Oh, all these spices are made by McCormick. That's good. Yeah, I might have to go. It's been a long time since I've been into our Aldi, so I'll go and check it out. Like I was talking about earlier, Jason, I wouldn't register anything. Just wouldn't do that. Um, you know, I just you register it, they're going to be knocking on your door asking for shit. So I don't care if it's a magazine, a freaking what it is. I wouldn't register shit. So that's my opinion. You do what you want to do, but I ain't registering shit. They can kiss my ass, and that's just the way I'm going to say it. Kind of like when I brought up if somebody knocks on my door, they better have a search warrant. And that's what I was saying before. I've said this, I don't know how many times over the years. What I highly, highly, highly recommend is people load up on mags, whether it be pistol mags. Even if you own a Glock, get the big sticks, just load up on mags. Um, AR mags, AR-10 mags, whatever it is. I don't care if they're metal, plastic, you want them to run reliably. But I would load up on mags for whatever you think you're going to need. I'm not saying you have to buy 80 mags or 100 mags or any of that kind of stuff because it would be very difficult to carry that on your person if you had to. But the first thing to take a shit are mags. Whether you drop it, break feed lips, dent feed lips, that's not as common as it used to be back in the day. But for just situations like what you're dealing with, um, you know, load up on them. And a lot of them are polymer. They go in Ziploc bags pretty easy. So there you go. Let me catch back up. Looks like the chat started cruising here. Yeah, I've already done it 15 times, Pistol Pete. I'm sitting here waving it around right now. No, I'm joking. I'm not. It's sitting right there though. But it is with it is what it is. Yeah, I hear you there. I don't like to fill out warranty registration with manufacturers. I will be honest with you. I have on a lot of them, especially back in the day. Ones that have like lifetime warranties and stuff, I actually have filled those out. They'll let you know if there's a recall on it or anything like that, or if it's a lifetime warranty for the original owner. Um, but if you ever had to prove it, you could show your proof of receipt. Just keep your receipts as you should for your insurance company. If anything, your house is caught fire or anything like that, God forbid. There you go. Yeah, and I will say this: the and I've had a lot of people ask me this, and I've talked about it in the past. I don't know if it's a thought or anybody's thought of it, but is it better to buy? And I've had this exact question asked before: is it better to buy 30 round mags or 60 round drum mags? I've got plenty of the 60 round drum mags. I've got even 50 round AR-10 drum mags. Um, And then, of course, y'all know that I have the regular mags. I will let you know this. Uh, Drum mags are freaking heavy. They are very heavy. They're also kind of cumbersome to carry because they're so thick and they're just thick and kind of round. They're just kind of weird where you can have your flat mags just stacked on top of each other. And in my opinion, this is my opinion, if you were going to set up a tripod gun, just have it mounted on a tripod, yeah, you could use a drum mag, good. You got, you know, 60 rounds. However, if you're going to be carrying them or putting them in a bag or trying to be incognito or whatever it might be, uh, regular 30 rounds are definitely the way to go. Also, if you're shooting from benches or anything like that, the 30 rounds are actually a pain in the ass, and the drums are a pain in the ass. So that's when you could use a 20. I've got a bunch of 20s. I think I only have like two or three 10 round mags for ARs. Um, and those are nice if you're just, sighting something in where it's kind of low on a bench or something like that, or like on a bipod. But honestly, I mean, and I even have couplers where you take the two 30 round mags and put the coupler in them and stick them together. And they kind of stack that way where you can insert one and the other one's on the side. And then you drop it, slam it right back in. Um, I like drum mags, don't get me wrong. And they do run very well. But honestly, if I was like thinking, oh my God, I got to buy some, I'd rather have regular mags. Just being honest with you. So that's my opinion. Big J, are CZ pistols sprung heavy? The Shadow Company has a very high spring weight. I'm sure I'll use the dot when racking the slide. I don't really think they are. Mine have the shit shot out of them, but I've racked brand new ones. I don't really think they are. I don't know the exact spring weight, to be very honest with you. Like on the Shadow 2 and the TSO and stuff like that, you can change the spring weights. Because you can just put a different spring in it. Captured springs. There's some people that make lighter springs, I believe, for the P10C. I haven't seen any for the P10F. I don't think they're sprung too heavy or too light. I think they run great. I don't notice jerking or crazy ejection or anything like that. Um, you know, never had a problem with mine. I can't speak for everybody though. Yeah, Jason, in your situation, I can understand that. I can understand that. The P mags, or excuse me, I guess they're made by Magpul. The P60 and the P50, they have been very reliable. They're kind of a pain in the ass to load, but you know, I would rather have regular mags, to be honest with you. Yeah, and I agree with that exactly, Abigail. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, no chessboard. Like I said, I'm a pretty tame person until you piss me off. Let's see. It said I found numerous receipts that paper fades out over a couple of years, even in the darkness. Yeah, I hear you there, sir. I do hear you there. On some of the big purchases I've done, I've actually laminated them and not had a problem. Now I put them all in folders, but anything can fade. I do agree with you on that. Yeah, Brian, the 20s don't get in the way. I do agree with you on that. I even have some 20s that I carry in a truck belt setup that I have. Let's see. It's good to have all the mags you need. I've heard this discussion before. How many you going to carry in a loadout? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Here's the way that I look at it, though. Yeah, you're only going to carry so many on your person, but if you had a whole bag of them, and I do, I have a separate zip up big bag that holds a shitload of mags that I could keep in a truck, that I could keep, somewhat hopefully close by. And that bag of those mags are loaded. So I've even shown it, talked about it before, but I definitely keep my mags loaded. It does not hurt them. That's a whole nother discussion there where people go down rabbit holes. Or don't keep your mags loaded because it's going to damage your mags. Oh my lord. And I've even joked about this, and I've got an M&P 1522, and you load, 25 rounds of 22, it's a freaking light ass mag. you know, I mean, you could carry a ton of those things, and you could carry, y'all have all seen how I carry 22 rounds. Hell, I put them in a Gatorade bottle. In a big Gatorade bottle, I think you can get 500 or 600 rounds. In the small Gatorade bottles, I think you can get 325 or 310. I actually tested it one time, and I did a video. Y'all can go it's probably way back somewhere, but you can get like 310 rounds of 22 in a small Gatorade bottle. And you can put that small Gatorade bottle in your back pocket. I used to do that when I was squirrel hunting when I was a little kid, but it wasn't Gatorade bottles. It was some apple juice bottle thing, similar to a Gatorade bottle. Here's Jamie. Hello. What companies offer gun insurance? Which ones don't now? FLP, Firearms Legal Protection. There's many of them out there that do. I have FLP. I would just say read the fine print, do your own homework, and find out. A lot of them can instantly drop you, or they can say, we don't want to get involved in that. You want to check and see if they handle criminal and civil. There's all different kinds of fine print. And at the end of the day, who knows if any of them are going to be there for you? I mean, unless you're in that situation. But if it's something that you do on your own where it's just totally negligent, I don't think any of them are going to stand up for you. But you also want to check to see if they help during red flag laws, which mine does. A lot of them offer cleanup after the fact because there will be a mess. Mine does. There's a lot of things you need to check into when you're doing that. Read all the fine print. That's what I would recommend. And then make your own decision. I don't want to tell anybody what to buy. What about AR-10 mags? Same thing, 10s versus 20s. AR-10 mags, I have the 25 rounders, a ton of them. And I have, what is it? 50, I think, was it 15? I've got the 25s and is it 15? Dominantly, I have the 25 rounders for the AR-10s. That's what I dominantly have. But, yeah, I mean, pick what works for you. If you're going to bench it, I would definitely recommend the 10 round mags. Yeah, and you got to look at, bald. I mean, that's a valid point. I've done videos where I've had a bunch of my 22s, the 20 round, what is that, the SIG P322, loaded up with 20 rounds. And I mean, I can dump 20 rounds super quick, like right in your nose. That would not be a good day for someone. And even the 16 rounds with the Taurus, I got the 16 round plus 5. That'd be a bad day for somebody, but as long as it runs reliably. You're going to get failures with rimfire. We all know that, but you can rack it and keep going. So it's super, super easy to just unload on somebody really quickly if you had to. And yeah, it would be a very bad day. I've been looking at better bags lately, wanting something with Molly. Any suggestions in quality? Book bags with Molly priced fairly. That's the thing, Brian. I'm a big proponent of Lynx Defense, Lynx Defense bags. They are not cheap. They are very expensive, but they're all U.S. made. Good quality zippers, all that good stuff, but they are expensive. He's been a sponsor of the channel for years now, along with Harry. He has given me a couple of bags to test, and I've tested them, really liked them, and I have bought three or four more bags, but they are not cheap. But Lynx Defense, they make really good stuff. I mean, there's other good quality bags out there. I'm not trying to discredit anybody, but a lot of them are, China made, and I do try to support American companies. I try to. I know with all these optics and stuff, I have a lot of Hollow Suns. They're made in China. We know that. Um, but I've even shown bags, the China bag. I had zippers break literally when I was at the range, and I couldn't get the gun out because the zipper broke. I couldn't even unzip it, and I had to take my knife and rip the freaking zipper open. So I've shown that bag on. I think I showed it on a chat one time. Um, I was at the range trying to get the bag or trying to get the gun out of the bag, and the damn zipper broke. So, I mean, it's kind of buy once, cry once. That's the way I look at some things. But, I definitely enjoy their bags. They're not cheap, though. Jamie, it's called a Lynx, Lynx, Lynx Defense. And they make rifle bags, backpacks, um, custom gun bags, and you can get a lot of them custom done. So you can pick your pattern, your thread count, or your thread color. I've got videos on them on my channel if you want to check them out. I've had some custom made bags where you can go in and pick everything that you want. And yes, it's all American made. It's very compliant, for the military as well, because he does handle a lot of military law enforcement stuff like that. So he does make a lot of bags for them. But really good guy. I know him personally. It's out of Carolinas, runs a shop and makes everything in house. So good quality stuff. Timu advertising for book bags when looking for one. Timu, man, I've been seeing those things pop up everywhere. Somebody said it's a scam, that they're like really scammy. I don't know. I've never messed with them. Don't really want to, but any thoughts on a shot timer or a shooter's global shot timer? I've never used the shooter's global shot timer. I have the PEC. What is it? The PEC 2. It works great. It's super freaking loud. Matter of fact, I even put shot tape, the little shit you mark USPSA targets with those little stickers. I stuck them over the speaker. Um, when I pop that thing off in the house and I let it beep, my dogs freak out. And I can be all the way on the other side of the house, and they literally freak out because they don't like smoke detectors. And that's what it sounds like. It's loud as shit. I've had that thing for years, and they're relatively priced well, but I've never had it go bad. Before that, I had one of those little blue ones. I can't remember the damn name of that. Shot Timer 2 or something. It's the one everybody used to have, and it took a shit out. It took a shit on me. The LED screen went dead, and you could still make it beep. It wasn't the battery; it was the screen that went dead. So I don't know. Grab a gun as a P10F 9mm optics ready for 379. Yeah, I post those things all the time. I post them in my community tab and send them to everybody. Yeah, that's a hell of a deal. GB58 saying Taurus 22 comp is the best pistol in that caliber that I have. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I love my Taurus 22 competition, especially since I put all the tandem cross parts on it. Man, that thing is a freaking little Ferrari. My wife absolutely loves that gun, and she can run it like a champ. She can shoot 9 millimeter. She really doesn't like it because the bang kind of scares her even on a bigger gun. But man, I put that 22 in her hands and she shreds with that thing. And she's super accurate with it. She could literally, from probably 10 or 15 yards, she could stack, shots in the forehead. Without an issue at all. So, she gets after it. But yeah, 22s are a blast. I love 22s. They're so damn fun. And when I shoot them on video, people are like, "Oh, that's not a blah blah blah." I'm just like, man, have you ever shot a 22 before? And some people say, "Oh yeah, I shot this, blah blah blah," and I'm like, man, you need to get a fun 22 because they're just fun as hell to shoot. Yeah, they are good little guns. But anybody have any other questions or comments or anything? It's 8:01. Man, I'm sorry about this camera. I'm telling you, when I get back home, I'm probably just going to order a new damn camera so we can call this a day. I don't know why the hell you just bump it, the little plug, and I guess it might have a short in it, obviously. Just so y'all know, I travel with this webcam all the time and I have to roll it up, put it in a back, briefcase and backpack and all that shit. So it's probably just the wires in it are probably shot. So, you know, sorry about that, everyone. That was not my intention. Brian says, I'm not so sure that a high capacity 22 is a great home defense gun for women. I agree with you. Uh, the only thing I would say, because I have shot a shitload of 22, is if you're going to have a woman or even a young person or whatever shoot a 22, I would train them. If it's either you putting duds in there or whatever it is, I would train them to rack and clear it and then get back in the fight. Because with rimfire, you're going to have that happen. I've even tested mine, both of mine, with, and it's not as common, but with the defensive ammo. What is that? The hell, I did a video. Y'all probably saw it. It's that the best. It's that. God dang it. It's made by HST, I believe, or something. It's that 22 nickel plated defensive 22 ammo. It's pretty good stuff. But I even had failures with it. So, I would just teach them to rack it, things like that. But, and yeah, not everyone can wag around. Not everyone, like, I'll let you know this. My wife, she can shoot an AR-15 and she likes to shoot it, but it's just big and bulky, for her, where she could just grab that super light 22 and go to town. And I could even throw the suppressor on it for her, if and just have it laying right there. Yeah, Ball. There's a lot of AR-15 ammo that'll just, when it goes through hell of sheetrock, it'll just start splintering. There's a lot of people have proven that out. Yeah, I wouldn't shoot an AR-10 in my house. That would not be good. I have not tried Fusion 911. I haven't tried that, Jamie, so I'm not sure on that one. That's another thing. I wouldn't run. Buckshot is fine, but I wouldn't run slugs and a shotgun in your home either, unless you live freaking out in the middle of nowhere by yourself, and you know where everybody is in your house, and you're not going to hit them. Yeah, AR-15s AR-15s. This is my opinion. For my home defense rifle, I run a 300 blackout suppressed, okay, because it's freaking quiet. An AR-15, I've got AR-15s, I got plenty of them, and I've got suppressors. And I've put suppressors on 77 grain and all that stuff. It's still loud as shit. You're still going to be deaf. With a 300 blackout, subsonic, you're not with suppressed. And then I've heard other people. I think it was John, from the Warrior Poet Society. I think he was like, I want everybody in the world to hear it. When I'm going bang, 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 I don't know if I want to run it suppressed. I want a lot of people to hear it. So they'll call for help and all this other stuff. Um, I everyone should know their house, the inside of their house, better than the bad guy. Um, so I don't agree with that. I wouldn't want everybody in the world to hear it and deafen my family, deafen myself. I don't care about the bad guy, but I would want it suppressed in my home. But I've heard the argument both ways. So I guess it's whatever your opinion is. But I'm definitely a 300 blackout fan for home use. Now, granted, it's a 30 cal bullet. Uh, could it get extra penetration? Could it go through, your wall? I'm in a brick home, so hopefully I'm not going to hurt anybody else. But, you know, if you got to get people out of your house, sometimes shit's going to happen. So, yeah, on a 55 grain, it is definitely you're going to get some fragmentation. But, there is that time that you might scan across, you might attempt to shoot a bad guy and go through a window. There's all kinds of things that are going to happen. But if that's what you have, use it. Use what you have. I don't think and I've heard the argument you should have a specific gun in your collection that you're going to use only for home defense. You know, hell, there could be a time you want to use a shotgun, you want to use a pistol. Depending on if there's multiple people, then you want a rifle. I mean, there's all kinds of what ifs. But I'm not saying you only have to have one certain gun for your home defense. I don't agree with that. So, and I'm a big proponent, and I've said this before too. If you're using a pistol for your home defense and you keep the pistol on your bedside, I would recommend for that pistol having multiple mags hidden around the house where you know where they are. If it's a rifle, I would recommend having maybe other magazines around the home for that specific rifle. Whatever. Shotgun, that could be a little different, but unless you just want to leave shells laying around. But I think you should do that. That's my opinion. Yeah, and Brian, I agree with you on that. For maximum, damage, I'm a super fan all day long on the 300 blackout. I mean, I've even said it numerous times. I prefer supers. However, if you want super, super quiet, you're going to have to run subs, but you have to account for the drop. Now, in your home, you're probably not 50 yards away going down your 50-yard hallway unless you live in a big old mansion, I guess. And if you're having to take a shot out in the yard or off on your property or something like that, that's a whole nother ball game. But and if you're just shooting out into the dark and you can't see what you're shooting at, that's a whole nother thing too. So, yeah, and that's the thing. People are like, "Oh, I can grab my GoPro. I could grab my, battle belt. I could grab my whatever." That's not going to be real easy for a lot of people to remember all of that stuff when you're running around in your underwear. So, I mean, I don't sleep in pajamas, but I guess some people do. Yeah, but Brian, that's also been tested. I've heard this argument: 300 blackout subs are equal to 45 ACP. They're actually not. Okay, you're dealing with a rifle projectile versus a pistol projectile. So you will get a huge or a lot different cavity wounds, and it's been tested now, of course, in gel and things like that. But um, yeah, the rifle, uh, tip, etc., uh, from the 300 blackout sub is much, much better than a 45. Now, the energy, I believe, is pretty equivalent, I guess, if that's what you want to say. But the way the bullet's designed is totally different. Yeah, I mean, you just want to be prepared. You just don't know what you're dealing with until you get until you're put in that situation. And I guess whatever you have available is going to be what you're going to use. But if you're preparing, I usually have a pistol and a rifle, um, you know, and if you're dealing with multiple people, you don't ever know. But that would be the better thing to have, would definitely be the rifle in that situation. And again, you don't know if they're wearing even soft body armor, because hell, you can order that shit off eBay. So, or you could. I don't know if you still can, but if they're wearing something that's gonna, a 45 or a 9 millimeter or something else is gonna stop it, um, you know, you're not gonna do that great with a pistol. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Lynn Holt. If anybody breaks in my house, they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, I'm getting shot by this guy in his drawers." But hey, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, and a buddy of mine was joking with me one time, and he and I'm not going to share it because it shows part of his family. But I was going to say I should post it, but I'm not going to, because it shows his kids and stuff, and that I don't show my kids on internet. But he was joking around with me and said, "Oh, look, I'm ready to go." And in his bedroom, he had his tripod set up with his AR-10 aimed right at the door. And of course, it was unloaded. He was just showing me this, but it wouldn't be. Now, he doesn't have any small children either. But anyway, he's like, I just jump up and go to the tripod if I have to. And I was like, there you go. Tell 1776 to come back on the chat, camera off or on. Yeah, I'd love to have him back. He's just been super busy. Matter of fact, it's been a while since I've talked to him or KS. I reached out to KS and he was in a meeting or something one time, and but yeah, I need to reach out to those guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 8:13. We will shut this bad boy down. If y'all have any questions after the chat, please list them below, and I will get back with you after the chat. Uh, lock grips. I'll just kind of go over this real quick for anybody that's still on. Uh, Big supporters of the channel and who I've been working with for a long time. I highly recommend all their products. I'll go ahead and give everybody a shout out. Is Lock Grips. Lock Grips makes the best grips in the game. I've got them on every gun that'll take a grip, and I love them. They will even do special things sometimes, extra thickness for me because of my hand size. No other grip company will do that. I've been working with them for, gosh, going on 5-6 years now. Um, they started from a one man shop. Now I think they've got like 7 or 8 employees, or maybe more. He's grown tremendously. Makes the best gun stands in the business. The thing about them is when you put them on the stand, they literally lock on the stand until you push your magazine release button. They also keep, I've pretty much checked it with my levels when I put scopes and stuff on and optics. I've set the levels on the top and they're pretty much balls on as long as your desk or whatever, your tool bench is level. So that's just the way he builds them and sets them up. So, because he is an engineer by trade, just so you know that. He's not just some guy in his backyard making this shit. And he makes a lot of OE stuff. I won't say who, but I know who. He makes a lot of original equipment stuff for many, many companies. So he's not just a little guy making stuff. He does them for companies as well. Harry's Holsters. He makes great holsters. He's working on some other ones right now. Hopefully, they will be out soon. And I will. It's just he doesn't have light bearing at the moment. But I do like his products a lot. Lynx bags, Lynx Defense, love their stuff. Core gun belts. I've been running their stuff for, gosh, I don't know, four years now. Really like their gun belts a lot. There's Tandem Cross. They're a big supporter. I love their products. I was buying them before they were sending me some things to test, just so you know. And many things I've bought after the fact. And there's other companies I'm probably forgetting. I'm sorry if I am. But those are some that work with me. Also, Primary Arms, have worked with me for quite a while. I don't push their stuff as much as I should. It's an affiliate thing, so I do get a little bit of kickback. And hell, Primary Arms. What's the other one? Palmetto State. I work with those guys too. But like I said, I really there's a lot of companies that I've tried their stuff and they're like, hey, here's a discount code. Here's this, here's that, and I don't feel good about pushing those discount codes because some of those products I wasn't sold on and I had some problems with them. So I didn't accept a discount code. And that's just how I roll. So you have to prove yourself to me before you're kind of part of the family that I'm going to recommend. So that's just the way I am, and that's the way I'll stay there. Pistol Pete named one of them that I will have nothing to do with. And they offered me discount codes many, many times. That one right there. I never took a dime from them. They even offered to pay for some videos. Never took a dime from them and never set up an affiliate link with them because I just didn't know. And then I had those fail. So never used them again. Now, maybe their stuff's better than it used to be. I'm sure it is. But, that's just the way I am. So I try to pretend, say, hey, I buy stuff too, and I don't want y'all to spend your money on stuff that I wouldn't spend my money on. So that's the way I look at it. But Texas Gun Experience, I forgot to say them. They also help support the channel. They've given some shirts, some hats, things like that. They don't give me free memberships or any of that kind of stuff. I pay for my membership. But they've been big supporters with the channel. A lot of the people up there watch my videos. They're really good people. So they do give me some discounts on some products periodically that I've purchased, but they don't just give me product. But that's kind of the way I roll. So, but I appreciate y'all as always. Y'all are the reason this chat happens. We've got some diehard family members here, and y'all really mean a lot to me. And thank you so much for the prayers for my father. I really do appreciate that as well. I'm definitely pushing for him. Hopefully this crap will get fixed up and his throat will open back up and he can get the feeding tube out and, press on. So, but thank y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Hang in there. Love one another. If you haven't talked to some of your family members, please reach out to them. You just don't ever know. It's weird shit going on nowadays. Also, do not give up your 2A rights. Do not fold. Stand strong with this stuff. Even if they say you can't do this and you can't do that, you're grown men and women. Do what you need to do. So thank you so much. Y'all have a great night. I appreciate y'all. And remember, an unarmed nation's a very weak nation, so we all got to carry on. I know you can't see me, but I appreciate it. Take care.